weird. blah blah.
Good day, everyone. Welcome. We will be beginning in a few minutes. Thank you for being here. We have a lot of important things to discuss. So, once again, welcome to the meeting, and we will begin shortly.
Nobody bashing me. Okay, okay, so at the moment, um,
I'm not hearing nothing. there are many persons attempting to get into the Zoom. Please inform other parents that they can watch it on a YouTube, Morant Bay High School YouTube channel. Please continue to bear with us as we admit all the relevant persons into the meeting. Please continue to bear with us.
Are you hearing me on the Zoom now? Okay, all right, okay. All right, good morning again, everyone. Again, we apologize for our late start. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. Nonetheless, we are going to begin. We will begin with our opening prayer, and then we will get straight into the proceedings of the meeting. Let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven, we give you thanks for this opportunity here as we are here today to discuss matters related to our school, matters related to our students. We ask that information will be shared in such a way that everyone will be able to understand, and it will be clear, concise, accurate. And at the end of this, everyone will be informed, and the plans that will be put in place for the education of your children will be well planned and well executed. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, again, let me welcome everyone to the meeting today. We have with us our principal, we have our vice principals, we have teachers, parents, students. I extend a warm welcome to all of you. At this time, I will be handing over to our principal, Dr. Shaw, to address you briefly.
Good morning, all. We love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails us. All our days, we are held in your hands. From the moment that we wake up until we lay our heads, oh, we will sing of the goodness of the Lord. What a time in Jamaica, and more so in St. Thomas. Today is Wednesday, September 23, 2020. It is good to be with you always as we get ready to run this race which is before us. Thank you for joining as a great team member at this time, the Morant Bay High School family. More than 75 persons have died from COVID-19 so far in Jamaica. And as we grapple as a people to keep safe and healthy, it's time more than ever that we band together to run and win this race. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are, Dr. Shaw.
Oh, my screen just changed in front of me. If we need a reminder, this COVID virus is telling us it's no respecter of persons. In everything we do, we must always give thanks. Let me at this time thank all our CXC participants, students of this humble institution called Morant Bay High School for doing so well in their examinations. They have worked hard and truly received their rewards. I want to mention Mrs. Kerry-Ann Campbell as their year supervisor and her form teachers who work alongside her, Mrs. Tracy McCoy, Mr. Gavin Scott, Mr. Jermaine Scott, Miss Yannick Roberts, Miss Karen Blair, and Mrs. Campbell, year teacher again, who stood in as one of the form teachers for 5A. These persons stood with these set in thick and thin, ups and down, and to deal with all the indiscipline that some of them displayed. And at no time did she, Miss Campbell, nor her team gave up on them. I say God bless them all. To all our parents of these wonderful students, you have worked with the school well, and I say God bless you well. All other supporting staff, vice principals, senior teacher, general staff members, who would have contributed to the success of the students' achievement, I say thank you and God bless you. Our PTA president, Mr. Mika Small, is Small here in the house. Is Miss Small in the house? No? Mr. Mika Small is our PTA president. I want to also thank her for her presence over the years, over the year. She tried her best and we are all happy for her. The guidance unit, I have to single out of the Morant Bay High School. They are the wings behind, they are the wings, the wind beneath our wings in the institution. And their mark, their encouragement, their input have surely given us the success that we can proudly speak of on a morning like this. I say thank you to Mr. Logan and Ms. Johnson. It has become evident that a blended approach to teaching and learning will have to take place in light of this pandemic. Classes will take place online and in exceptional cases, face-to-face. Broadband connectivity will be extremely important. Teachers are equipped now to deliver lessons and are proficient to manage the online interaction. School will start virtually on Monday, October 5, 2020, with teachers engaging students for 20 minutes for each class using Google Suite, and the students working independently for 40 minutes, taking information from the Google Classroom. The guidance unit at the school will facilitate psychosocial support for all students. The plant is presently COVID-19 friendly, and as time progresses, where there can be improvements, this will be done. All orientation will be virtual from 1st to 6th forms. Upper 6 will be on October 5, lower 6 on October 9th, first formers September 29th to October 1, second form September 29th, third form September 30th, fourth form October 1, and fifth form October 2. Most of us would have heard the Minister of Education doing her delivery last evening. And one point that I took away, interestingly, she was saying to parents that school fees are not needed at this time at school, so parents should utilize such for equipment and other devices that they might need. I humbly want to agree and disagree with the minister. Should things change for September, the contributions will be needed for school, the running of the school. So I'm asking parents, let good sense prevail. And if you so desire and wish to contribute, please do so in good grace. Your assistance as a team player, more so in this time, is necessary, and it is for the benefit of the students that we have to teach. Welcome to this meeting, and I thank you for your presence, your patience, your cooperation. As we move along, I sincerely hope that we will stay together as a team, a family, and work for the betterment of our students. So as we proceed, at the end of each school year, we can humbly and simply say, thank you, God, for the achievements. We want this achievement to continue, and it's because of parents who stayed with us, and we have discussion and understand and continue to help in whatever way and in every way that we can really laud our success. Parents, let us stay together. Teachers, let us stay together as we move Morant Bay High School into a higher realm. God bless our teachers. God bless our students. God love and bless our wonderful parents as we continue to educate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Our two vice principals here with us as well. We have Mrs. Marsha Ford Bryan, and we have Miss Claudia Johnson. To our vice principal.
Good morning, everyone. I'm not hearing Mr. Logan very well, but good morning, everyone. I am Miss Claudia Johnson. I am the vice principal who will be working closely with first and second form, and I also am the exam coordinator. Welcome to this academic year. It will be filled with challenges, but I know that with the staff at Morant Bay High School and the parents working together, we will ensure that your children, at the end of the school year, that they would have achieved all that we want them to achieve. As the principal announced earlier, we'll be having orientation next week. And for all parents of first form, it will be done over a three-day period starting on the 29th. You would have been told how things would go, but as your teacher, Ms. Campbell, will explain to you the changes that will be made based on the different protocols that we have in Jamaica right now. So stay tuned to your WhatsApp group for that information. For second form, your orientation will be virtual. It will be for one day, and it will be on the 29th. But let me speak to us all on the matter of how we will actually be operating in our virtual school. We'll be using the G Suite that was given to us by the Minister of Education, and that will be the means by which teachers will engage students on a daily basis. We will be sending out some information to parents next week during orientation and on the weeks to come on how students should operate on that platform, and also to help to guide the students on how they will engage with their teachers. We know that that's not the ideal, but based on the community spread of COVID-19 right now, we want for our staff to be safe, and most of all for our students to be safe. And at this time, it's not wise for us to have physical school. So we want all parents to try their best to equip the students with all the relevant gadgets that they need and the internet for them to have online school. We know, though, that there are some individuals who may not be able to equip their children with all that is needed. Those individuals should ensure that they give all of those information to the form teacher of the class and also to the guidance department. The only way in which we can assist the children is if we have all the relevant information. A survey was sent out by the guidance department, and we're awaiting the results from all parents as to your ability to provide the gadgets and the internet. Remember, we cannot assist if we do not have the information. G Suite is, many of you would have been hearing about it on the news, is a learning management platform wherein the students will be able to go online, download the information that they need, and then go offline. They're not required to be online all the time, but they need to be online for the first 20 minutes of the class, where they will interact with the teachers, and then they will be allowed to use the remainder of the 50 minutes that is allotted for each class to do their personal work, and then to upload whatever assignment has been given to Google Classroom so that the teacher may mark the work. Registration will also be online. It's a new normal. It's a new way of doing things, but we have to try our best to see how best we can operate within our country at this time. Many of you will be asking about the laptops and the tablets that were promised. We were told that the distribution would have taken place during the month of September. Up until this day, today, we have not yet received the tablets that were promised for the first to third formers. We made inquiries last week, and we were told that by Monday of next week, we will have some more information. So as soon as Morant Bay High School gets the information, we will forward same to you. The distribution will be done through our guidance department because they have the name of all the individuals that were sent up to the ministry. If your child already has a tablet or already has a laptop, please remember we need to, the resources, it's limited. The tablets, they are limited. So if your child already has a laptop or a tablet, please allow the other child to get it because they will need it more than you would. If you have more than one student in a household, the directions that has been given to us is that it will be one tablet or a laptop per household. But please remember, we do not have the tablets in our possession at this time. For upper school, the government promised that they would actually give us money to buy laptops for students who are in 4th, 5th, and 6th form. Those students that are on the PASS program. We have not yet been able to secure those laptops. Many of you will know that those devices right now are in short supply. But our bursars department, we are making strides to ensure that we have the equipment as soon as it is possible. Virtual school cannot operate without the students having the devices and being able to access the internet. With that in mind, we know that textbooks are also very important. We will be sending out information to everyone on when you will be able to collect the textbooks for this academic year. Parents were asked to return the books. We started that process on Monday. It will be completed Monday, the next Monday. As soon as we have sanitized those books and made them ready for you, we will inform the different parents so that we can give parents the books so that they are not totally reliant on the internet. Before I continue, for any parent that is in the Zoom right now, if you have a question, you can raise your hands and Mr. Logan will actually allow you to ask your questions right now. So I'm going to continue, but if you have any questions on anything that I would have already mentioned, just use the raise hand function and Mr. Logan will allow persons based on when the hands are raised. For persons who are listening to us on YouTube, please write your questions in the chat and we will try to address them also. We know that movement at this time is also very important. And we're also facilitating Jamaica Moves in our school. With that in mind, we are also allowing the first and third formers normally do physical education. And the fourth and fifth formers, we are designing a program for them so that even though they're at home, they will not be in front of the computer at all times, but they will also be moving physically because we know that is also very important for them. Okay, I see a couple of hands that are raised. One physical hand is there. So I'm going to unmute you at this time, and then you may ask your question. That is Miss Cunningham. Miss Cunningham, please unmute. I've allowed you to unmute. Yes, go ahead with your question.
Okay, I have to bring Michaela book in tomorrow and Mikhail one on Thursday. So I would like to know if I could bring the two of them tomorrow.
Oh, you have two children?
Yeah, because I have Michaela coming now. And Michaela, the book is supposed to come in today and Mikhail one tomorrow. Someone if I could give the two of them today.
Yes, yes, that can be allowed.
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you. You may mute your mic now for me. Okay, Miss Gordon, you may unmute and ask your question. Go ahead, Miss Gordon. Okay, it seems Miss Gordon doesn't have a question. Go ahead, Miss Watson. Nikisha Watson, you have a question, your hands. Yes, go ahead.
What about if you don't have Wi-Fi?
Could you repeat the question? I'm not hearing you clearly.
It doesn't have any Wi-Fi.
Your child, you don't have Wi-Fi. Okay, that information you pass on to the form teacher and to the guidance department. And we work from there. All right, I've unmuted you, Miss Gordon. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I was just clarifying, I'm not sure if the information was shared before. Are the students required to wear uniforms?
I'm not hearing you, Miss Gordon. Speak a little louder for me, please.
I'm sorry. I was asking, I'm not sure if the information was circulated earlier, but will the students be required to wear uniforms during the orientation and classes?
I will answer that question later on in the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you for the question.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm hoping that I'm not seeing any other hand raised. Could Mr. Logan tell me if there are any questions in the chat?
No, none right now. You can go ahead.
Okay. For the textbooks, please remember there are some situations where a child may not be given textbooks if they have not returned all the textbooks from the previous year. So what is happening right now is our book room coordinator, that's Mr. Gray, is going through all the files to ensure that all the records are up to par so that we can start the distribution of books as soon as the ones that we are collecting at this time are properly sanitized. That's it, Mr. Logan. Mrs. Fordbrand will speak to our timetabling. Thank you, everyone. All right, until Mrs. Fordbrand comes, I'm seeing a question as to if the child is not on path, if a computer will be provided. We're only told about the persons on path. As soon as we get more information on persons who are not on path, that information will be passed on to you. But we have only been told about tablets and laptops for students who are on path. Also, parents, please ensure that your teacher has your email addresses because we will be sending that information to you for the child to be able to access the Google Suite. So all parents, please ensure that you give your email addresses to the form teachers so that they can email you with your child's MOE school's email address. That is the means by which they will access the Google Classroom and Google Meet for classes. And everyone, happy to see you for this school year, this academic year, and we will talk as we go along. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, now to Mrs. Fordbrand. Is Mrs. Fordbrand present? All right, to address some of the questions, we have on a bi-monthly basis, we receive a list from the Ministry of Labor and Social Securities. Now that list is the attendance list that speaks to whether or not which student they have on file being on the PATH program and those persons who are currently receiving benefits. So let's say, for example, the most and when this list is sent to the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, with their checks and the child is removed from the PATH program, whether permanently or temporarily, then when we get our next list for the next month, that child's name would not be a part of it. I'm just to say there may be there
You're now unmuted, Mrs. Ford Bryan.
Thank you. I know just now Mr. Logan was speaking, but we weren't hearing him clearly. So I hope that we will get that sorted out in short order, and then we will go back to him. I do hope that you're all hearing me. I know that we are experiencing connectivity issues, and so some persons might be hearing and seeing very well while others are not. We are going to try to be as clear and precise as possible. And we are going to ask that if you have your questions, that you put them in the chat so that we can view the chat and answer as many questions as is possible. Let us see if we can go with some basic rules for now. If when I speak, because I'm going to speak on the timetable, if you are not clear on what is being said, I'm going to ask that you write 1 in the chat. If you are somewhat clear, you write the number 2 in the chat. And if you are absolutely clear, you write number 3 in the chat. That way we will know if we are reaching to all persons who are on the call right now. So I'll repeat: 1, if you are not so clear. 1, if you are not clear. 2, if you are somewhat clear. And 3, if you are absolutely clear. If I see a number of 1s going up, then I know I need to repeat and emphasize. So, are we clear on what's happening? Okay, I'm seeing quite a bit of 3s going up. So we are understanding what's happening. Thank you very much. I am Mrs. Marsha Ford Brown, one of the acting vice principals at Morant Bay High School, and I want to use this opportunity to welcome you all to our first parent teachers session. And this is one of the unique ones because we are not accustomed to this level of communication, but this is one means of communication that we must get acquainted with if we are going to operate in the time that we are currently in. I know that it is difficult for most persons, but we will try our best to meet the needs of all as best as we possibly can. So I am also responsible for the oversight of 3rd form and 4th form. That's the current 3rd form. And the year supervisor for the 3rd form year group is Mrs. McDermott. I will also be supervising the 4th form year group, and the year speaking with you in short order. But I will use this time to speak to you about the timetable and how we are expecting the students to operate and what we expect of the parent to assist us to ensure that our teaching and learning process is of the level that we want it to be. Are you understanding me so far? Do I still have 3s or do I have 1s and 2s? Very good. Okay, some persons are saying they are not hearing clearly. And some persons, well, I also believe that the type of device that you are using will contribute to you not hearing, as well as connectivity issues. So I'll continue until things clear up, or I will repeat what needs to be repeated. Okay, I am getting that. Some persons are not hearing clearly. I hope that in between some of the breaks, you will be hearing some re-emphasis that I will be doing, and that will be cleared up. Good. Now, before the announcement was made yesterday by the minister, okay, before the emphasis was made by the minister yesterday pertaining to how school will operate for October the 5th, Morant High School has been planning a blended approach. So our timetable has a blended approach wherein we would have met with students virtually, which is online, and we would have met with students physically within a week. So in a 1 week period, we will be meeting with students virtually as well as physically. Now that the announcement has been made, we know that for October the 5th, we will be going strictly online, which is the virtual timetable. It still means that the timetable that our teachers and your teachers have to distribute will be the same timetable that will be used. Where you see the timetable in red, and you will be going through this again during your orientation with your year groups. You will be seeing some sessions in red. Those were originally the virtual timetable or the online timetable. That still stands. You will see some sessions for the physical, but what is going to happen to online or virtual? So where the timetable is concerned, the teachers will be meeting with the students twice per week for any one subject. So you will be getting the timetable and you will be seeing that. The timetables are not yet distributed. So the timetables will be explained during the orientations, and then thereafter they will be distributed. So the timetables have not yet been distributed, and so we will distribute it once we have gone through it in detail with the different year groups and form classes. So the year teachers will be attending to that in short order. By this week into next week, you will be getting the timetable. Now, when we look at the timetable, what I want parents to understand is each student must follow the timetable as is. The teachers will be following the timetable as is. Once the session is finished, then the child will move to another class. And the timetable has times on it. So we will be adhering to the registration period, the devotional period, and then the periods when classes start. Let us begin with the registration period. We will be using a platform called Google Suite. On the Google Suite platform, there is an app known as the Google Meet. Teachers will be expected to meet with students, the form teachers, on Google Meet to do that registration. For those persons who can't make it on the Google Meet, but you can make it on your class WhatsApp, then you go there. In the morning, the registration must be done via WhatsApp and or the Google Meet. Are we clear with that so far? So those persons who are in the WhatsApp group, and we encourage you to join your phone class WhatsApp group. Once you are there on the WhatsApp group, you sign in your name during registration period. The teachers will send you the link for the Google Meet, which is a part of the G Suite that we will be using. And those who can join the Google Meet, you join it there, but ensure that your name is marked either on the Google Meet or your WhatsApp group. And we are accommodating the use of WhatsApp because we know that most persons have their phones, and WhatsApp perhaps takes a little less effort as it relates to bandwidth or as it relates to data, so that you can get your registration done. So this is the reason why we are also giving the option to use the WhatsApp. So that's for registration. Right after registration, on your timetable, you're going to see devotions. Now, the form teachers will be conducting devotions, and it is during this time that we will take whatever queries afterwards that the students have. But devotion and registration, very important to start the day. We must give thanks for whatever mercies we are given. So devotion and registration must be done. The register will be taken as is normal. If persons are late, then you are going to be marked late. So once you miss the registration in the morning and you happen to log in with your teacher afterwards, you will be marked late. So we are operating school as school will normally be operated. The only thing is that we are now doing it virtually. So I'm asking that persons make all effort, and this is why we are having options. Thereafter, we are going to have our classes. Now, on the timetable, you will be timetabled for various classes. You will use your Google Suite, the account that each student will get. And parents, you need to be aware of this account as well, because you will have to help us to supervise that your students come on when they ought to come on. So classes will take place, and each session lasts 50 minutes. Each, let me know if you understand, last 50 minutes. Are we clear with that? Okay, I'm seeing one person saying one. The sessions for each subject, one session is 50 minutes. For lower school, you will have one session per subject each time. So you're meeting your teacher twice for the week, and 2 times for the week, you will have a 50-minute session, sorry. Good. For upper school, you will be meeting your teachers twice for the week, but instead of having one session for 50 minutes, you'll be having a double session. That's for 4th form and for 5th form. You'll be having double sessions. Are you clear with that? Do I see 3s? For 1st to 3rd form, you'll be having single sessions. That's 150 minutes for the session. Very good. So persons are clicking in 3, so you understand. Very good. Right. Now, the students will not be expected to sit in front of their computers for the entire 50 sessions. That is neither healthy for the teacher nor the students. And I am certain that you understand the attention span of our students and so on. To be seated rigidly in front of a computer for 50 minutes straight will not work. So this is what is going to happen. The teachers will be engaging the students in instructional delivery for about 20 minutes. Let me know if you understand. Click in the numbers for me. Teachers will be engaging the students face-to-face online for about 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes of teaching or instruction delivery, then the student will go and do the assignments and assessments that are given to them. Now, teachers will be telling them to go and watch a YouTube video, or they will be doing some crossword puzzle, or they will be reading a text, or they will go to page so and so in their textbooks and read from pages X to pages Y and then answer the questions. Now, those activities they will be doing while not directly in front of the computer. Let me know if you understand that. Put in your numbers and let me see what's happening there. Good. Threes, 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 threes. Yes, keep it going. Very good, very good. So we are clear. Now remember, the teacher will engage for 20 minutes. So the students must be there to get that instructional delivery, and then thereafter they will understand what to do in terms of the assessment. Now we don't want them to miss that instruction. So the teacher will be sending out the links in the groups so that you know when to come on to get your instruction. And then we will leave you for the next 30 minutes to do what you need to do. And then the students will upload the work on the system so that the teachers can correct the assignments and give feedback. Now the work must be done, parents. So going to give the instruction. Students will do the work, but work is done and how the work will come back. All students will know exactly how to use the Google Suite. And so we will be having training to assist. Okay, I'm hearing persons going back to 111. You are not hearing me clearly, right? There is a break in the connectivity. Okay, I will repeat. There is a break. Okay, I'm seeing ones. Connectivity issues. Yes, I realize. Okay, good. I hope it will clear up. But for the most part, I know that you understood exactly what I was saying. So parents, I am asking you to assist us in ensuring that the students get the work done. Okay, for those persons who are hearing me, I am going to ask that you put in the chat exactly what I am saying so that the other parents who are not hearing, they can hear. You can just put a little notation. Because what I don't want to do is to shift and then I lose the entire connectivity. Or I'm going to ask Mr. Logan, if you are hearing me, to just put a summary of what is being said in the chat so that the parents can hear exactly what's happening. Okay. Very good. Parents need to assist. Asking the parents to assist to ensure that the work is being done. Right. We also know that data is very expensive. And because data is expensive and the type of device that you might be using as best as we want it to, we don't want to have the 50 minutes. And that is why we are doing the instruction for 20 minutes and then give the students the work to complete. And then parents, you assist them in completing the work, seeing to it that it is done, and then the work is sent to the teacher. So that's basically what I'm reiterating. I'm just saying that over and over so that it can be placed in the chat for the other parents to hear, because some parents are hearing, but some are not. Very good. Miss Johnson had mentioned earlier that it is good if we interject some Jamaica moves. It is good if we interject some Jamaica moves. And so for those classes, lower school in particular, first to third form, they have PE scheduled on their timetable. During the PE sessions, parents or guardians, we are going to ask that you help us to get the children to be as physical as they possibly can. There are going to be some posts, some videos, some exercise, some activity-based lessons for them to participate in. Please, I'm asking you to join in with them to get active. We can't have our students staying in front of the computers or just sitting in that one position and not being active. Now, I saw a question coming in. What about those parents who have to go to work? And this is where family assistance will have to play a big part. While parents have to go to work, and we understand that, children really should not be left on their own. So we do hope that some amount of supervision from a responsible person is going to be put in place at home, because we don't want our children there alone. So whomever is there to supervise, we are asking them to assist us. We know that this is going to be trying times, but we ask that you put in the proper measures as possible to give oversight to our amount of structure and organization. Parents, are you understanding me? Am I seeing some threes? Let me know if you are understanding clearly what I am saying. So even though you have that we have mature individuals who are supervising our students, could somebody put that in the chat, please? There are some parents who are not hearing that so clearly. So ensure that we put in the chat that even though parents have to be at work, ensure that proper supervision is at home for our students, because we can't allow other distractions other than what is currently happening to defray from what we have to do as an institution. So the learning process must go on. And as parent-teachers partnership, we must ensure that that is done. So we will be incorporating in physical education some amount of Jamaica Move and activities. For upper school, we will be organizing that as well for the 5th and 6th formers. Regarding psychosocial activities, which is guidance and counseling and so on, we have on the timetable students, and we have other sessions for HFLE. For
As we wait for Mrs. Ford Brand, it seems as if she was taken out of the meeting for a short while just now. While we wait for Mrs. Ford Brand to return, I'm asking the year teachers just to get ready, and we'll be going from our first form year teacher to our fifth form year teacher. So we'll just wait for 30 seconds. If Mrs. Ford Brand is not yet in, we'll be asking Mrs. Campbell to be our first speaker, first of the year teachers. We're living in a time where the internet affects all that we do, and this is one prime example. I'll be unmuting all your teachers at this time to be so that you are ready when it's your time. If Miss Campbell is in the meeting, could she please turn on her camera? Miss Campbell, if you're in the meeting, please turn on your camera, please. I'm not seeing Miss Campbell. Okay. I'm seeing a hand raised. Miss Dakers, do you have a question? I will unmute you. Please unmute and ask your question.
Good morning,
Morning.
Johnson. I'm just asking, what about if your child don't have internet at home and doesn't have a device to use for class?
Yes.
How is it gonna work out? Just want to get an answer on that.
Yes, we're trying to get information sheet. We're running a survey. Did you get the Google form that the guidance counselor sent out to the different year groups? So you could have indicated that,
Yeah,
so they have that information for you.
My daughter get that. Okay, I will check and ask them if they get it, and they fill out the information on it and send it.
Yes, because we want to have a database with all the students that may fall into that category, so that we can develop a plan for those individuals.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, but we just need the data.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Mr. Brown, Clive Brown, I'm going to unmute you. So please go ahead and ask your question, Mr. Brown.
Miss Johnson, morning.
Morning.
With all of this planning, it's not going to make sense if the internet connectivity is not addressed, because I was listening to Ms. Ford Bryan and I hear just about maybe 50-55% of what you said. And I just imagine when school starts, so Morant Bay High School needs to check on the data plan that they have with whether flow or digital, check on that and see if it is adequate to meet the demand that you guys will be getting in the next 2 weeks or so when school open.
Yes.
So it's just not making sense right now. And this is just for parents.
Yes, yes. And I totally agree. We have been, over the course of the last month, we have been making serious investigations as to what is happening at school. Things were looking much better 3 weeks ago, but over the last 2 weeks, we have seen a drop in the supply that we have with the bandwidth where the internet is concerned. So we do agree, Mr. Brown, it's a cause for concern. The thing now is, if the teachers are at home with their devices and internet, then we will not have the overload at school. But we know that if teachers do not have internet, then they have to use the school facilities to actually engage the students. So it is a cause for concern, and we are investigating to try and put a good solution to the problem.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, sir. If there are any questions in the meantime, what I'll be doing, if Ms. Campbell is not on, we'll be asking another year teacher, whether it be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or 6th, to address us. I have unmuted all the year teachers. When you are ready, you can just turn on your camera, and then we continue in the interest of time. Yes, Ms. Grant, I see that. I am seeing Mr. Moore and Ms. Grant as two of our year teachers in the meeting. So could I call on either to just turn on their cameras if to tell me that they're ready and to begin? I see you're ready, Mr. Moore. Go ahead.
You see I'm ready?
Yes, I know you're ready. You're always ready, Mr. Moore.
All right. Good
So
afternoon,
this is
everybody.
Mr. Moore. He's our 5th form year teacher, and he will continue to introduce himself. Thank you, Mr.
All
Moore.
right. Good afternoon, everybody. Man, I tell you, for everybody who's on, I'm glad I put the questions and that persons and the concerns that persons are raising. And I'm happy that persons are realizing that the internet connectivity is something which is not just Morant Bay High School only, but everybody has that issue. Because even before I start my presentation, I have serious issues. And I'm starting my presentation by literally begging if someone would want to assist from KB Wireless, because they are saying that my wire is corroded and therefore my internet connectivity is extremely bad. So I really hope that throughout my presentation, you will be able to hear. And I want to piggyback on what Ms. Ford Bryan has just done. And if you're not hearing me, use the relevant numbers, 1, 2, and 3, and I'll know what to do. Now, Ms. Johnson, I would love to share my screen. Can I go ahead?
Go right ahead.
All right, thank you very much. All right, hosts, you have disabled my screen sharing.
Oh.
Yes.
All right, that's not from my side. I'm the co-host. So in order to enable the YouTube, maybe you won't be able to share. I'm so sorry, sir. But if Mr. Logan is on, he will try to assist you. So you may have to work without.
No, the thing is that Mr. Logan has my presentation as well. So if Mr. Logan is here, please, Mr. Logan, either allow me to share or you can post my presentation at this time so I can start. All right. Ms. Johnson, Mr. Logan is on.
I think Mr. Logan may have been, there's an internet issue at school right now. So he may be in and out. So what I'm saying to you, Mr. Moore, is that in order for the live stream to happen, he changed some settings. So you may have to operate without your PowerPoint.
All righty, all right. Okay, all right. Let me just bring up my PowerPoint on my phone. I'm coming, all right? Give me a second. So I can maybe still do a bit of sharing somehow. All right, just 1 second, please. All right, it's a pity I can't share, but I'd love to see my screen, but I'll see your best I can continue without that screen, okay? All right, just a second. Just 1 second, just a second. All right, good. All right, now the presentation I'm going to do today, I know that at this point in time that there are many persons who are extremely trepid and you're wondering what to do. But as your fifth form year coordinator, I understand even more that persons are fearful because you're talking about your students preparing for the CSEC examinations. And therefore, on your mind, you're talking about how will the SBAs be done. There are some students who are also complaining that they are not really so familiar nor they are comfortable with the whole aspect of this online teaching. So it's a new paradigm for everybody. But I want to say to you that we are more than overcomers and we will be able to accomplish this together. So first of all, I adopted something from a principal. And this principal, her name is Dr. Belinda George. And she is the principal for the Homer Drive Elementary School in Beaumont, Texas. All right. Now she's a principal who's kind of blazing the trail, and she actually tries different methods to be able to reach out to her children. And ABC News, for those who would like to do, even right now while I'm talking, you can simply type in ABC News, Belinda George, and you'll be able to see that interview. Now, one thing she did was to use the same word corona. And many persons are fearful when you hear the word corona, but she was able to use the word corona and to coin the word corona to create something different. And so C, she used the word calm, stay calm. O, organize, organize your thoughts. R, rest, rest up while you can. O again, organize, organize your life. And N, navigate, navigate your way through this. Accomplish, that's A. accomplish what you set out to do. Now I'm going to break down each one of those for you. And I'm so sorry you can't see the screen. Honestly, I prepared something so wonderful for you. You can't see it. Let's start with stay calm. As parents, perform in particular, and I'm referring to everybody, you have to learn at this point in time, despite all the confusion, the internet connectivity, not being able to have a device for your child. You know, some persons may be out of work. Some persons have to go to work, and you're wondering how the child will cope at home by themselves. I'm saying to you, despite all of that, try to stay calm. First thing to stay calm. Bear in mind, for those persons who are God-fearing people, God is in control. No matter how difficult it may seem, God is in control. Just bear in mind the children of Israel. Despite the fact Pharaoh army came after them, they were 13 years, but God was in control and he protected them, parted the Red Sea for them, and they went through. And I'm asking all of us to bear in mind that Red Sea that is in front of you, of no tablet, no internet connection, whatever difficulty may be, I'm saying to you, first of all, stay calm. God is in control. Number two, live one day at a time. There are many difficulties, but you will not be able to fix all the difficulties at the same time. As you can see right now, even in this meeting, just live one day at a time. And then stay calm. I'm saying to my parents, just stop a bit, relax a bit, and just do a bit of reflection and take your time to move forward. And that is stay calm. Next one, organize your thoughts. In your head at this time, as I said before, there are many things that are floating around in your head space, and you're wondering what to do. You're wondering how to manage. And I'm saying to you, number one, order based on importance. You want to look at your thoughts that are in your head this time, and you want to take your time, and you want to have a little dialogue with yourself to discuss what is most important. And what you can do, grab a piece of paper and you start to write down in order what you think is the most important to the least important. And as I said before, be calm, take your time, and you work through them one by one. Don't attempt to do everything. Number two, your child is also very important. And this is an issue I realize with some parents. I'm going to ask you to see how best you can fix this one. What we are going through now, have discussions with your child. So do not isolate your child from the discussion. Let them know what is happening. Let them know, listen to me, I don't have any money. Let them know that you're having difficulties, but you're together, we are seeing how best we can work it out. We are working out our thoughts together. And finally, under organizing your thoughts, you want to come to a conclusion. So when you have the discussion with your child, maybe you have a discussion with your partner, and you have itemized all different things based on the importance, the most important to the least, you are going to then say, all right, let's come to a conclusion now. How are we going to arrive at these things? What are we going to do to arrive at these? You're thinking things out, all right? Moving on. The next one is, while you're doing all of this, trying to figure out how to move forward with your child, especially those who are in fifth form, 6E coming up. And you are going to be extremely stressed. I can tell you personally, I feel stressed. When for example, just today, while I'm in the PTA meeting, I'm also on another device, and I'm in another session, right? While I'm in the session, parents are calling me on the phone. Persons are saying, boy, I can't hear. Where else can I go? I was bumped off. All these different things are happening within the same time. That's a lot of stress on any person. So very important now, you have to find some time to rest. You have to find some time to rest. Even within this period now, students in particular, you want to say to your child that school has not fully started yet. So you may want to get as much rest as you can now, because when we actually start on the 5th online, using online platform, you are going to be bombarded with a lot of work. And therefore, you're going to get extremely tired. So try to get as much rest as you can now. Moving on, we talk about the next O, another organize. You realize organize is there 2 times, very important. The more organized you are, the less you are stressed. Let me say it again. The more organized you are, the less you will be stressed. Okay, so you want to be organized. And then it says, number 1, my child's learning is first. That's organizing now, you know. You're thinking to yourself, despite of what all of what is happening around you, I'm saying at this point in time, my child's education, I want to make sure this is top on my list. And therefore, whatever I need to get done legally, I am going to make sure I get it done so my child can get that education which is necessary. So the child may not have the tablet, as I said, or the laptop. I'm going to do whatever I can. And I'm going to keep doing that until I can get my child to be able to have that education that I want. Number 2, on the organized, seek help. Seek help. A person who's well organized realizes that by yourself is very difficult. And sometimes you have to seek help from other persons. And I'm glad the school has guidance counselors. It means that you can reach out to your guidance counselors. You have the year teacher. You can reach out to your year teacher. You have form teachers. You have subject teachers. You have persons within your community. There are persons all over. Okay? And then just to attach to that now, I want to add build partnerships. Build partnerships. We're talking about organizing now. Build partnerships. As I said before, seeking help, you alone can't do it. You alone can't do it. So while you're having difficulties, don't try to do it by yourself, man. Reach out to teachers, reach out to family, reach out to friends. Do not sit at home by yourself and be stressed and you don't reach out to somebody. As I said before, if you get yourself properly organized, you will be less stressed. All right, moving on. N. Remember, we're looking at COVID now. Corona, sorry. Corona. Navigate your way through this. Navigate your way through this. And on my slide, I really have somebody who's using a puzzle. And you know with a puzzle, that when you look at it, you find that there are going to be several pieces. And you are going to be confused. But you are going to take your time, and the word that comes to my mind now is the new normal, the new norm. You're going to try your best to, with whatever you're going through at this time, to navigate through your difficulties. Take your time to figure out which is the best path to take. So just like you're doing the puzzle, you put in one piece at a time. No matter how brilliant you are, you can't accomplish that puzzle just by throwing the things on the page and then they automatically all the different parts will come together. You will take your time and one by one, you're going to be putting the pieces together. You're going to be navigating your way through. And as you see the picture come together, you're going to take your time and then you're going to realize, oh, I'm getting somewhere. The same thing with this coronavirus and back to school and online teaching. There are many different platforms. And this more you learned about the Google Suite that the Ministry of Education has given to us. And Ms. Johnson presently is working on that to hand over to us. So each child will have their own account and the school will now give the information to the children using those different forms. But guess what? For you to be in a better light, you yourself need to understand these platforms. So you ought to spend some time to also try to understand the platforms. What you don't understand, don't fret yourself. I don't want anybody to worry. Just take your time little by little. What you don't understand, pass it to somebody else and let them assist you or let them do it for you. All right? Where your child is concerned, and the fifth formers need to understand this now. You must understand the different platforms, fifth formers, because this is where the world is going at this point in time. All the different platforms are being used all over. When they do leave high school and they go to higher education, you realize a lot of persons are using the online platforms now. So I'm saying to us, let's get in line from now. What COVID-19 has done, it has forced us to do what we should have done many years ago, possibly 10, 15 years ago. So it is forcing us to do what actually we had the devices long time, we had the platforms for most of them long time, but we're not using them. COVID-19 says, hey, use them. All right, moving on. Now, my last one now, looking at Corona. A, accomplish. Accomplish. Accomplish what you set out to do. Accomplish what you set out to do. Accomplish what you set out to do. And how will you accomplish it? By simply following the steps that I told you about. And remember the steps I got from Dr. Belinda George, and she's a principal abroad. And she's one, you can follow her. She has different interviews that have been done, and she has been doing quite well. She's extremely innovative. And when I look at her, she's one that I realize is very cordial, and she's very inviting, I would say. So just look at the different pages and look at different videos, watch, learn what she's doing, and understand that as a team, we can overcome. So just quickly, just to recap, Corona, calm, stay calm. Organize your thoughts. O, rest of while you can. O, organize your life. N, navigate your way through this. You can navigate. And finally, once you are doing all of these things, you will be able to accomplish. So fifth formers, there will be more information that will be given to you when we have our fifth form meeting. And I hopefully would love to share my screen at that time. And I'll go into more details as some of the requirements for fifth form. But I say to you, you will be able to accomplish. I'm going to ask all the parents from first to fifth form, do not worry. Just allow time, allow God to lead you, stay calm, organize, rest, and take your time and navigate your way through. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Thank you.
You're
We're going to
welcome.
ask another year teacher. Another year teacher as we go through quickly. Please turn on your camera so I can see where you are. Thank you, Mr. Dwyer. I'm unmuting you so that you may, so please unmute and go ahead.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I
We're hearing
will
you.
start. Yes, I will start my presentation on the front foot. So I want to tell the parents that first and foremost, that we are the ones who should start everything that is to be done. And I will start it this way. For one, we are the ones who always go out, come back in. Good. And if we disregard the protocols that are made to protect us, there is no way we are going to protect our children. There is no way we are going to protect our children and protect ourselves. So for one, whenever time we go out, we have to pay close attention. Good. Wearing the mask, sanitize, social distance, all of those, you name them. It is, well, it can be termed very, very, very irresponsible if we should go out and come back in and cause anything to happen to our kids, to our children. We go out, we don't wear a mask, but when we come back in with something, children get sick and so forth. So I'm saying the only way our children can move ahead is only if we protect them. Good? So let us bear that in mind. So once we protect ourselves, ultimately our kids will be protected. So let's move on to the kids, to the children. I know it is difficult at times as an adult to adhere to, but I do. Good. We must always remind the children to follow the protocols, whether at home or sometimes when we take them out. Good. When our children are at home, for one, they are to be supervised. Good. And supervision comes in many forms. I would like to start by saying the first part of the supervision comes with sitting down with our kids and talking to them, explain to them what is expected. All right, you are to wake up early, you are to sign in, get your name marked, get your attend devotion, get your head in tune, starting doing your schoolwork, which is online, right? And once we can do that and get them in a mindset that will cause them to want to be doing this on their own, that will allow us not to be overly extending ourselves to be over their backs, you know, and that sort of thing. So let us sit with them, talk to them, engage with them, you know. Once we can do that, boom. Once we can do that, we will get something out of them. They will want to just go on and do the things on their own. I know that supervision is going to be difficult because a lot of us work. At times, there are going to be times when we are going to have to leave them on their own. And what are we going to do? Tell ourselves that they are not going to do the work? So let us do our part as the parents. Do your part. Sit with them, talk with them. I'm not saying that they are going to sit there and do everything all the time, because we have to be real. When we have them, in front of us physically as teachers, there are times when it becomes challenging, and you can just imagine them on their own, sitting in front of a device. It's not going to be any different. But I think if we as parents and even as teachers can say, okay, this is where I want to be, this is how we are going to approach it, we will get a little bit more out of these children. Good. Children, these nowadays children are really up to speed with 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 these technologies. Good. So once they get it the first time, they're always going to be able to access. So accessing these things is nothing new for these children. Them know how to do it. Trust me. So there can be no issue a child saying that them don't really know how to do this. Good. These children, they catch on very easily, very, very, very easily. So parents, in cases where you don't understand how to use these technologies, seek help. Good. Seek help. There's always help. You can always knock a form teacher. The guidance counselor is always there. Vice principals are always there.
Yes, some of them want you
That
send only if you could have sent
see
two
sit
money
there and
to
say that I don't know how to do it.
security in my orientation.
Good. And um
It was very good. It gave me a pep this
work.
morning.
We as parents at times, I know that we go out and we work, come home tired. Sometimes we just stay at home and we're tired. We have to ensure that the work that is done is to be presented. It is to be submitted when it is to be presented. So if I give a piece of work, say today, and it is due on Wednesday, I don't want to be collecting on Thursday. Good. If there are challenges, there are ways and means you can get to Mr. D and say, Mr. D, trust me, we are experiencing some challenges with sending the work, and I will understand. Good. But just don't take it upon yourself and say, all right, this not works, so I'm not send no work. Let somebody know. Form teacher, the subject teacher, but just let somebody know what is happening. Good. I don't think this should be treated different. Punctuality for classes. We know of a particular time when we have our face-to-face. 7:50 is the time that we start. Good. Now, I don't want parents and also students to look at it and say that, yes, this is virtual, so I can get up anytime and just hop into a class. No. If the time says 7:50, you are expected to be there at 7:50 or before. Good. I don't want anybody walking or logging into my class at 8:30 or whichever time. Good. So you go in, you mark your name, have devotions, because we can't leave God out of nothing that we do. Have your devotions, and that will set you in the path to having a good day. Good. So don't tell yourself that because it's virtual, you can happen anytime. No, that is a no-no. And as a year teacher, the subject teachers, form teachers, they will be taking registers. Good. So if you're late, you're late. If you're absent, you're absent. Good. I don't know if these absent and late will have any repercussions down the road. So please ensure that you are early for your classes. You see, in everything that is bad, you can always find some good. And I think what this pandemic will teach us is for our students to be a bit more responsible. Good. So them know, so them to do this, them are gonna get up and do it. And I know over the years that our students has been very responsible when it comes on to certain things, going to class, leaving break early and stuff like that. So this is going to teach them to be responsible. Good. With the help of all the parents along with us teachers. Parents, it's very important for us to know that virtual teaching, it comes with a particular behavior. You must know how to behave when you're doing online learning and teaching. There's a video that is circulating around where you're having a virtual class and the lecturer is there and the students are there. It seems to be a university class. And the lecturer did something and she wanted to pin the blame on the students when it was the lecturer who actually did what she did. And the students had to point out to her that all their mics are muted. Good. And her mic wasn't. So whichever sound that came out has to come from the teacher. We as teachers have to conduct ourselves also. This is new to us. I cannot imagine a teacher coming out to a class without shirt. Nah, that is a no-no. And I think every teacher understands that. And yes. So for the students, please, and parents, please ensure that your children are dressed for class. I don't know if a decision will be taken where students will be required to wear their uniforms, but I can speak as a physical education teacher. Whenever time I am going to have a practical session, or whenever time a child is required to do a piece and video it and forward it to me, that child will have to be in his or her PE gear. Good. Let me say that again. Once a child is required to send in any form of practical work, good, they video it, forward it to me, that child will have to be in their practical gears. Now, if a child is in the group that didn't get any PE gear, forward that concern to the form teacher and I will get it. Good. I have a lot to say, but next week, Tuesday, September 29, will be our orientation. So I think I am going to save much of what I wanted to say here for next week, because most of that will be specific to second form. And I hope that each and every one of you have a good day. And thanks for having me. This is my first virtual meeting where I actually use a video. So it's kind of new for me. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dwyer, our second form year supervisor. And could another year teacher show your camera, please, so that we can unmute you? Another year teacher. While the year teacher shows their camera, I see that there's a question from Miss Palmer. Question from Miss Palmer. I will unmute you. Please unmute yourself now for me and ask your question.
Hi, Miss Johnson. Great afternoon to you. Just want to ask this quick question. We know the problem that we do have with the internet, which is somewhat beyond most of us control. In regards to like the submission of work and, you know, the requirements from the student, will there be a level of leniency in regards to any error via uncontrollable events such as internet situation or things like of that nature?
And we are putting a plan in place, and it will be communicated at the different year orientations. Read that thing that what you just mentioned, and there is a plan, and Mrs. Ford-Brand, when she gets in after the year teachers, will speak more clearly to that. But remember, this is just for us to talk to everybody, just about the general reopening of school. But all of the questions that come to us, we will we have a plan in place, and it will be further explained at the year levels when we have those orientations next week.
Okay, noted.
All right. And so may I ask another year teacher at this time to just open your camera. Thank you. I see Miss Grant coming on. I'm unmuting you. Please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Good afternoon, parents, teachers. Welcome to our virtual PTA meeting. Yes, I'm the year coordinator for fourth form. I must endorse what my colleagues have said earlier. Mr. Moore was on point, Mr. Dwyer as well, and I endorse all of that, and the same goes for my fourth form parents. Listen, because in March, April, May going on, when we were doing the online via Zoom, we had some concerns with the behavior of students, even in the WhatsApp group. So we are craving supervision by the parents. We know you would have tried to do same and so on, but to help us even more when they're at home to ensure that they're in the class and they're behaving themselves. I know parents sometimes will have to leave them at home and you also have to go to work. But we have another week or so before we start on the 5th. So we could, even at home, do some dry runs, have them go to bed earlier now, because I know some of them have been in an almost holiday mood, not going to sleep until in the mornings, 2 o'clock and 1 o'clock and so on. Some of them are up online and so on. Have them try to get back into a sleeping routine and to wake up by a certain time so that they can get online for their classes. And also to set the ground rules, because we're going to have your emails. So if they are misbehaving in class, we will let you know, right? And even though it's virtual school, I am sure that the admin will come up with some kind of repercussions if they misbehave online, because we cannot have that kind of behavior going forward based on what we heard happen during third form. The option sheets, more or less ready. I'm just double checking them to make sure. The fourth form teachers, I'd emailed to them the sheet. A lot of them have put it in their WhatsApp groups, so the children would have some idea of what they're doing. Also, Friday and Monday, they will be coming in, the parents will be taking in the textbooks. We are hoping to have the list posted with the students and the subjects they're doing and the group. So carry a little paper and pen to scribble that down and so on, so you can tell them. Also, the form teachers are putting it out there. There's also an email address for me that is in the WhatsApp group, and I have people emailing me and making queries and so on, which we're trying to answer. Good afternoon, Miss Pamela. Right. We're trying to answer and to, as much as possible, try to accommodate them. I have not been very stringent with some of the expected grades because we are all aware of what happened in third form. Some of them didn't have teachers for certain subjects, and then we have the pandemic and they were out of school for some time. So the stringent guidelines that we usually use to place them, I've spoken to some heads of department and I've somehow tried to accommodate them as best as possible, right? For some subjects like chemistry, physics, bio, and Spanish, and so on, we have limited space for those. So, and even food and nutrition was oversubscribed. So you will find that they will not get all of what they wanted. Not because we didn't want to give it to them, but we have to look at the numbers, right? And with planning for both physical and virtual school, and with the fact that classes will be divided, and we have to ensure that we have the numbers that allows for physical distancing and to adhere to the Ministry of Health protocols. We had to ensure that we stay within a certain number. Even online now, we're staying within those numbers because whenever we would transition back to face, we don't have to now be changing and so on. But the email is there. You can always email me. I will answer. I cannot really accommodate the WhatsApp like that, but once you email me, I will respond to you in short order as soon as I can, right? As Mr. Dwyer said earlier, please parents practice the protocol. Have your children practice the protocol, even at home, right? We ask you to take in the textbooks. I think more or less they're going to ask you to come and pick them up for your children. Make sure that you follow the protocol. When you go out for work, follow. When you take your children out for whatever reason, make sure that they are following the protocol. We want the Morant Bay High School family to remain safe. My fourth formers, my students, my parents, I want them to remain safe, right? So I want you to follow the protocol. Yes, Miss Whittle, but you have to email me and tell me what your concern is, right? Follow the protocol, ensure that your children, we spoke about the registration and the devotion and so on. Also parents, I would have given that out because, and as soon as you are clear, try to make sure they get the textbook that they need, that you need to buy for them. So that when online and teachers say, go to the textbook, go to that page that they'll have it. I know as much as possible, teachers will try to take pictures or provide the notes and so on, but make sure that they have the material as well. We know that it's trying time. It is very tedious. It is a new normal. We are all trying to adjust to it. It is fearful. It is frightening, but try to keep calm. Try to get very spiritual and try to follow the protocol and the guidelines as much as possible and ensure that your children do the best they can, right? Ensure also that you have the devices that they need. I know that some people will have Wi-Fi, some people will be using data. If there's a community center, police station, somewhere, a neighbor that you can make arrangements with, and you know the child has to go there, you go and you sanitize and you make it clean and so on. But do not say, oh, I don't have the data and I don't have any Wi-Fi. Remember, you can get in touch with us. We'll talk to the guidance counselor, but you also have to make an effort to ensure that your child is participating, and as best as possible, the education process is continuing. Remember, at fourth form, it is, we had already said it at third form when we had that meeting about preparation now for CSEC. It intensifies now at fourth form. So we're asking you, please, to ensure that your children have the equipment that they need for school and that you supervise them as much as possible. The form teachers would have put my email in their WhatsApp group, so you have that, so you can reach out to me as often as you can. But remember that school is from 7:50 until about 3 o'clock or thereabout. Yes, take the emails up to 4 or so on, but remember, you can't do it in the nights and too early, because I myself have to rest and to try to prepare to engage with your students. When it comes to, I will be teaching as well. I heard the question from the parent about the work and so on. As much as possible, we want them to adhere to the guidelines, to be on time online, and to be behaving and to submit the work on time. But you will also have our email addresses. You will have contact with us. So if you have circumstances, you can also inform us, let us know, and we will be flexible and understanding, because this is a new normal and we have to ensure that we're not too rigid to already add to the concerns of the COVID and the fears that people might be having and so on. Parents, our orientation is on Thursday. Mr. Logan will be creating the link, and that will be sent to the form teachers, who will put it in the WhatsApp group. Parents and students are invited to be there and to participate and to listen and so on. We're looking forward to meeting you, looking forward to interacting with you. I should be on campus on Friday for those persons who are coming in. I'm not so sure about Monday, because I have a year meeting on Monday, but I'll see if I can be on campus on Monday as well. But I should be there on Friday, God willing. So if you have any concerns when you come, you can speak to me. Make sure you're in your mask, and we have to stay the prescribed 6 feet away. All right? Parents, please, please, please help your children. They're at home to do virtual school. It's not an holiday. It is CSEC time gearing up. Please ensure that they're online, they're participating, they're respectful to their teachers, and they're submitting the work. And any concerns, as I said earlier, you can always get me via email. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Grant, our fourth form year teacher. But let me apologize again for our third form year teacher, Mrs. McDermott. She avoidably late or absent, sorry. She's not here today, but she will be meeting with you all at the orientation session that is scheduled for next week, Wednesday. Next week, Wednesday, will be orientation for third form, and all parents and students who wish to speak to Mrs. McDermott at that time will be able to do so. We also had some difficulty with connecting with Miss Welcome, our sixth form coordinator, and also Miss Campbell, our first form coordinator. Mrs. Campbell has been communicating with the first form parents over her WhatsApp group. So if there's a first form parent at this time who is not on that WhatsApp group, please follow the link and connect, because she gives information there on a daily basis. Orientation for first formers will be on the 29th of September to the 2nd of October, and she will give you more information through the WhatsApp group and also at the orientation. I have some information from Ms. Welcome before we'll hand back over to Mrs. Ford-Brand. For sixth form, you all know that the CSEC and CAPE results came out yesterday, and our students did very well. For all the students who applied for Morant Bay High School sixth form, just to let you know that the applications are being processed at this time, and Ms. Welcome will, by Friday of this week, By Friday of this week, parents will receive a call or they'll get a WhatsApp re the success of their children for our sixth form program. Those students who were not selected for sixth form, along with the fifth formers who did not apply to be in our sixth form, they will get some information that the Ministry of Education sent to us regarding the pathway 1, 2, and 3 program. Some of our students who are not going to be a part of our sixth form, they will be recommended to the Hearth program or community college. So even if you are not in our traditional sixth form, the government has a system or has a plan for you, and we will make recommendations as to what can happen. The ministry has promised to assist with the payments of the fees if you're going to the HARD program or to a community college. And that would, it's a subsidy, so the parents will actually have a reduced amount that they should pay for the child if they take on this opportunity that is being offered. More information will be given through the different groups, and Ms. Welcome she will continue to be a good means of communication where this program is concerned. For the students who were in lower six last year, and you are waiting to see if you were promoted, you also got your results. And we know that it's not only results that show if you got promoted to upper six, so you will get your information also. So those students who will be accepted or promoted for sixth form will receive information, read their orientation book list, fees, the timetable by Friday of this week. If you don't get information by Friday, Monday at the latest, because your timetable is ready. It's just to ensure that the correct individuals are in the correct classes. So just some final details are being worked out where sixth form is concerned. Fees will also be communicated at that time. Now I know the fees right now, it's a big talking point. So we will have further discussion outside of this meeting for that type of information. So we have covered first form with Miss Campbell, second form with Mr. Dwyer, third form, Mrs. McDermott will speak to you during orientation, fourth form with Miss Grant, fifth form with Mr. Moore, and sixth form with Miss Welcome. I see a hand up, Ms. Tamika Small. I'll unmute you and then I'll hand over to Mr. After we answer your question, I'll hand over to Mr. Logan, who will continue the meeting.
Good afternoon, everyone. What I want to find out is, based for the sixth formers, what is the criteria for students to attend your sixth form, and would the Morant Bay High School children get the first preference instead of outside student? Yes.
Morant Bay High School students always get the preference. We admit our students first, but then we also look on quality passes, and that is also from persons from other schools, and that is taken into consideration. But our students are always given the first preference. The requirements for sixth form: the student must obtain at least 5 subjects with 1, 2, at least 5 with 1 and 2. Sometimes the 3 is considered if it's not in your specialized area. English and math must be obtained with a 1 or a 2. If you are applying to do a particular subject, you must have the subject in 1 or 2. So that is where the subjects are concerned. Before we look on the subjects though, the behavior of the child over their 5 years is taken into consideration, especially their behavior in 4th and 5th form. So if a child had some disciplinary problems in 1st to 3rd and it was sorted out and they're okay in 4th and 5th, it's okay for them to, they will be put on the list. So we look on the subjects, we look on their behavior, we look on their punctuality and attendance. We also look on community service. community service that they would have done over time. All right. And if those things are covered, then they are put on the list. And we go through a selection where the principal, the vice principals, and the year coordinator with subject teachers, they go through and they look through the list. That's our process at Morant Bay High.
Okay, another follow-up question. Could I ask about the pathway program that you mentioned? What is there any, like, as with sixth form with the six subject, is there any criteria to go on that pathway program that you talk about?
Okay, when we speak to the pathway 1, 2, and 3, all students from Morant Bay High School, I can't say that all, but there may be 1 and 2, they will fall into a pathway 1. The pathway 1 deals with persons who have done their CXC and they are able to pass the 5 or more or 4 or more. And when we look on pathway 1, it's passing with 1, 2, or 3. And our results, most of the students at Morant Bay High School will obtain 5 subjects with 1, 2, or 3. All right, so most of our students will actually be in a pathway 1 program. It means that they're eligible to be in a sixth form program, a traditional sixth form program. For pathway 2 and 3, those would be for persons who were not able to obtain the CXC subjects with 1, 2, or 3. So those persons may need to be in a program where they are able to learn a skill, or in a program wherein they are going to do over the subjects that they may have done. So it's a combination. So if you have a child who they did 5 subjects and maybe they passed only 1 with a 2 or a 3, and all the others they may have failed, that person will be eligible for a pathway 2. If you have an individual who still has issues with reading and writing and comprehension, those individuals will be put in a pathway 3 program, wherein they get an opportunity to actually be able to operate in a work environment. So pathway, Morant Bay High School students normally fall within a pathway 1 situation. The issue we had this year as a school was because of our lack of space, we would not be able to admit all 230 something students into our sixth form program. And that was one of our drawbacks. But from the application that went out for sixth form, we did not have 200 persons applying. So from the persons who applied, we're now going to go through, many of them were admitted based on just their behavior and community service. So now Miss Welcome is looking through the results to now put them into the system to say that they're accepted. So if you know that your child, no disciplinary issues, they are always punctual, they did their community service, you're just waiting for the formalities to hear that your child has been admitted into sixth form. But for persons who knew that there were some disciplinary act problems and so on, then those will be the ones that discussion, you'll wait, we're anxious to see if you are admitted into sixth form. But the list will be out by Friday of this week. And we are here to assist the persons who we were not able to admit into sixth form by suggesting some other means by which they may continue their education. And that information will be shared with the relevant parents the next opportunity that we have to share with you. If there are no other questions, okay, I'm seeing in the chat. What's going to happen to the students who didn't get to finish the community service? What we did as a school was to reduce the number of hours for community service. We were aware that COVID-19 stopped many of them from actually doing the required number of hours. So we reduced the numbers. So it's not what you know, we reduced the numbers. Ms. Welcome will be able to inform you of how many hours we took off, because we did not want that to be a deterrent to them coming to COVID into Morant Bay High School, because we had to stop much of the work that they would have been doing because of COVID. Someone is also asking if the books can be returned before orientation. We are, at this point, we are collecting books. A schedule was sent out to all your groups through the WhatsApp groups. So we're asking persons to abide by that schedule. If the date has passed and you were not able to return the books, please contact your teacher, and they will pass that information on to Mr. Gray, who will develop another roster as to the collection. We do not want to run afoul of the protocols in the country, so we don't want a public gathering over what is specified by the government. So if you were not able to return the books on the date that was stated for your class or for your child, please give that information to the year teacher so that Mr. Gray will know the numbers that he's looking on so that we can plan another scheduled recollection of books. There are more questions, but we will answer those questions after Mrs. Ford Bryan completes her presentation. But I'm seeing on the YouTube page, many parents talking about, Ms. Ford Bryan, you can turn on your camera. Let me see where you are so you can be unmuted. I'm seeing many parents asking about the uniform. The uniform, we will address that as well. I think Mrs. Ford Bryan will address that issue when she completes her presentation. And then after her presentation, we will try and answer all other questions. You can unmute Mrs. Ford Bryan. We'll answer all other questions before we close the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Johnson. I must apologize for the breaking transmission, but that was beyond our control. We are having some connectivity issues here at the school, and I am back on. Both of us are on the school compound. I think where I left off was a case in which I was just reiterating about the timetable and that we are following the progress of the timetable. What I want to head to is for those parents who are having concerns about not having connectivity issues, we are putting in place and we are having dialogue with the requisite stakeholders to see how best we can decide on drop-off points. So we are putting together printed materials that we are calling the printed kits, wherein your child who is in a particular class will be getting the requisite assessment or assignments and reading materials. And we will be identifying drop-off points, and the traveling officers will be dropping off these materials at specific time, and we will be picking up assignments. So the ministry has in fact given us the go-ahead, and they say that that is one of the strategies that we can utilize. So the information that we are gathering from you, our parents, we need to know who are in the critical space wherein you don't have connectivity, internet connectivity, you're having serious problems regarding data and bandwidth. And so these would be the persons we are catering to who are in and find it difficult. And so we will get the materials to you. So we will do the printing, we will do the packaging, we will be doing the delivering. What we ask of the parents is that you work with us in terms of picking up and dropping off when your child would have completed the assignments. So that's where it is concerning those persons who are not having connectivity issues. We expect that those persons who are able to come online, that you will utilize the e-books and the online archives that will be created for you so that you can actually do the assignments and upload them. So for persons who cannot do the assignments online and upload online, we are having an alternative wherein we are going to create drop-off points with printed kits filled with materials, reading materials and assessments for students to do. So let me see if we all understand that. I'm back with my numbers again. So let me know if we all are on the same page where that is concerned. Very good. I'm seeing some threes. Good. Concerning, persons are also having concerns about textbooks. We are in the process of sourcing additional textbooks, but I must say to you, parents, while we have some designated textbooks at the book room and we are waiting on additional books to come in so that we can distribute to students who will need those books, we might have some books that we will refer to as supplementary books. Now, these books might not be the exact books that you're accustomed to. They may topics that the teachers will books so that those persons who are unable to go online and utilize the ebooks or to go online and get all those online materials, they will at least have some resource books that they can turn to, look in the table of content, and gather information that is being covered in the class. So it might not be the books that all students in the class might have, but it will cover some of the topics, and so it will assist your child. So we are sourcing those books elsewhere to see exactly how we can assist. Now, it has been some time now since the ministry has given us the required or the requested number of rental books that we need. And this is also contributing to why we are in the position that we are in. So we are currently sourcing supplementary textbooks so that your child can have additional books that they can use to complete some of the lessons that the teachers will be teaching. Please ensure that you are a part of the general WhatsApp groups for your year groups. At this point, I know that the links are being inputted in the chat. So you can go to the chat and look for the designated year groups, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. You will see a link. Please ensure that you join that link because it is on that platform that you will be communicating directly with communicating directly with the VPs and your supervisors as well as your form teachers. So ensure that you join the general year group WhatsApp group via the link. So we will be feeding information. For those persons who are concerned about everybody talking at the same time, there is in fact a feature wherein we can dictate that it's only the admins who will be sending out information. So we will be utilizing that feature, and when we want to get a response from you, we will utilize that feature as well. So it will not be a case wherein you can speak on that platform right throughout. So you will be utilizing that. So information concerning the timetable, information concerning classes will be conveyed. So we are imploring you to get onto that. I spoke about earlier, just reiterating the psychosocial platform wherein you will be getting counseling and so on, and your children as well. The guidance sessions and the HFLE sessions will be catering to that. So during those sessions, you will express how you're feeling. The guidance department will be creating lessons, not only lessons, but also conferences and workshops to help us all to go through the teething process that we will be going through and to see how best we can actually navigate our way during this crisis. The Ministry of Education has also is taking that up and out. So we are hoping not that there are persons who are going to have difficulty, but we are asking you, please, if you can get online and you can utilize that platform, only be focusing on those students who we know have severe connectivity issues. Concerning the timetable, we are using the timetable in a forum to reflect how school will normally operate. And so there is a new term that is being used that is called etiquette, fashioned of etiquette. And so there are certain protocols and responsibilities that we all asking that parents and students operate in such for all who use this space. And that is what we refer to as netiquette. And so persons have been asking about uniforms. While we might not expect of you to dress in the Morant Bay High School tunic regarding the green and the white for girls and for the boys, their khaki, because we know that you need to be focusing on the teaching and learning right now and focusing on getting your child acquainted with what needs to happen. So we don't want a situation wherein you are doing everything at the same time. So we are going to pace the way in which we do things. So for the October the 5th opening, we have decided that as long as your child dresses comfortably and appropriately, your child will be allowed in the classroom. Please note that the teacher will decide based on the dress code of your child whether or not to tell your child to exit, or the teacher themselves can exit the child from the classroom. When we speak to appropriateness, we are speaking to, we will not be allowing marinas or spaghetti straps or short shorts in the classroom. For the most part, we will be seeing the upper part of the body. And so we expect that appropriate dressing must take place as if it were to school. So while we are not pressuring you to wear that proper blouse and shirt is attired, the hair is combed and not all over the place, that the faces are washed and bright and ready for school, because we will be asking them to turn on their videos so that we can actually see that they are doing certain things. Please be mindful that we have had incidents on the internet that does not speak well to netiquette in terms of persons doing certain things not knowing that their cameras are on. And so we want to really avoid some of those incidents taking place. Please ensure that your surrounding is so situated or is so structured that it is in fact facilitating comfortable teaching and learning environment. Please remember, parents, if we have younger children at home, we are asking that we control the volume in the background, that we control certain behaviors in the background. If you can create a little space in the room that you have where your child will be studying, and we know that that is the environment for 20 minutes of instruction, then go ahead and structure that area. Remember, I said earlier that we will be doing 20 minutes of instruction, and then thereafter, the child will allow to complete the class offline by doing assignments and then uploading. So at least for 20 to 20 minutes, we need to have clear focus on teaching and learning. So that will take care of the timetabling aspect. Additional information pertaining to the how to read the timetable when you get a group orientation, wherein you can ask your specific question in relation to the specific year group, because the timetables are so structured that it is structured in the context of the year group that we are dealing with. So generally, school will begin at 7:50. And we will be starting with our registration and orientation. You would have gotten that. Then we are having all our classes, and school will end at 3 o'clock for some persons, and for some it might end a little bit earlier, but for the most part we are going from 7:50 to 3. Please note that in between, the teachers will use their discretion to probably have moments of stretching where the children are getting uncomfortable or they are getting restless. So they might give them a 4 minutes break or a 5 minutes break. But we need to have persons at home supervising this so that when class time is to be returned to, we don't have the hassle of missing some students, or some students would have walked too far or stretched too long. So we really need assistance in order to get this going. We are cognizant that this is going to be a rocky road, but we are here to meet your needs. We are currently collecting data from you, our parents, about devices and so on. And so once we get that information, we will be able to press on and to know who we need to attend to. Good, so are there any additional questions? Ms. Johnson, you can check the chat and
Yes,
see
I've been
if there are any
checking.
questions pertaining to what I.
Yeah, I've been checking the chat. You are very clear. I'm not seeing any questions coming up, and there are no raised hands. So I think we could proceed with the guidance counselor.
Good. So parents, if you were clear on that, let me see the 3s going up or the 2s, and then we can move on.
All right, they're asking about math teacher. They're asking about a math teacher. Yes.
Okay, so we have done our interviews. The timetables are done. Right now, we have the full complement of math teachers. Full complement of math teachers. We face-to-face teachers for few subjects, but now that we are going online to start off with, we should be okay. But for math, I can assure you that we have the full complement there. Persons were asking earlier if they, I saw it in the chat earlier, if the face-to-face orientation for first form is on for next week. The principal did say at the earlier onset that all orientations are now virtual. So all orientation, just reiterating, all orientations are now virtual. What we are focusing on is for the students to now return the books to the book room at the designated time, so that we can in fact send out the schedule for students to come and collect their books. And then we move from there. Thank you. Have a blessed rest of the term as we partner with each other. When should fifth form take in their books? The
they're to communicate
the
to Miss Campbell. Yeah, they're to communicate with Miss Campbell so we know how many. And then Mr. Gray will put out a schedule for them. We'll try to do it next week for fifth form.
No, we're talking, I think they're asking the schedule for the return of the books. Is that question being asked?
Yes, we answered that. We answered, we answered that. Third form is Friday and Monday, and this we're continue the second form right now. I see a question from Malik Williams. When should fifth form return books. So I'm saying, Mr. Gray has a listing of how many fifth formers have already returned books. So as soon as possible, we'll be passing on information as to when the persons who for fifth form who still have books outstanding, when they should come in, because we don't want to have a crowd on the compound. So just wait, and we will pass that information to you through the WhatsApp group that Ms. Campbell had for the fifth formers of last school year. A parent is saying that she just made 2 uniforms for her child. Will they just be on the hanger? Oh, your child can wear your uniform if you so desire. Remember, it's at the start of the school year that it's going to be virtual. What Mrs. Ford Bryan said is, we want the children to be properly attired. If you wish for your child to be in uniform, you can do so. If you have not yet, if you don't have uniform, ensure that your child is properly attired. So as Mark Bear High School right now, we're not saying you must be in or you should not be in. We're saying if you have already made your uniform for your child, the child is free to wear the uniform. If for whatever reason you have no uniform, you should ensure that the child is properly attired for school. If the child is not properly attired, the subject teacher may ask the child to leave the class to get properly attired before they return. We will continue with the questions after the next 2 presentations, because we'll have an open question and answer after the guidance counselor addresses us, and then our PTA president. So could we have Mr. White, Mr. Logan, sorry, at this time. Thank you, Mrs. Ford-Brand.
All right, I am hoping that my feed is a little better. No.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
wonderful.
hearing you, Mr. Logan.
All right, so firstly, I want to mention that our aim in this resumption of school is to ensure students who are able to get online and students who are not able to get online. We want to ensure that all students are catered to. The school and the teachers have been going through the trainings to manipulate the online platforms so that the best quality education can be delivered to all students. Now, the access to the technology survey that was posted, it's posted in the chat, it's posted in YouTube, and posted in the WhatsApp groups. We want all students' responses to be reflected on that survey, because that is the information, or that is the data we'll use to inform the decisions that are made. So if we check that form and 100% of respondents say they have a laptop and they have Wi-Fi at home, then we will be expecting that for online sessions, all students will be present. If we realize that 20% or 30% of the students don't have access to internet, don't have any cell phone, don't have a tablet or whatever, then we will put the things in place to get the content and get the information to keep those students in the teaching and learning process. That's number 1. Number 2, it will be of extreme importance for us meaning as a school, as a guidance and counseling department, to continue the psychosocial development of our students. Because remember, next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, the world is still awaiting well-rounded and well-developed students to come out at the tertiary level or into the world of work. So that responsibility on us as a school and on your child and on you as a parent is still there. So the student leaders still need to be developed. The soft skills still need to be developed. All of those things still need to be developed. So parents and students, as much as we're expecting the challenges and the difficulties for next year as it relates to the academics, Let us capitalize in the co-curricular activities. We cannot neglect our co-curricular activities. So the persons, the student counselors, the peer counselors, the different clubs and societies, we will have to find a way to ensure that our student leaders are still being developed. These soft skills are still being developed. The various talents and abilities that we have are still being developed. These cannot be neglected. Now, the onus is on us as a school to provide, and the onus is on the students and the parents to ensure that it is received and ensure that it is utilized. This partnership cannot be one way. If it's one way, it won't be effective. So the onus is on us as a school to provide, and the onus is on the parents and students to receive and make use of and capitalize. Every year when I address parents, I tell you that next year, it will be your set of students, or 2 years, 3 years, it will be your set of students who will be flying the banner of Morant Bay High School High. That continues. That has not stopped. It continues, and it has to continue. And 3, 4, 5 years from now, regardless of what happened in 2020 and 2021, that has to continue. So we now have a responsibility for each of us to play our part to ensure that that continues. Now, the services of the guidance and counseling department are still active, are still up and running. If you, as long as you're in the WhatsApp group, you're able to personal message either myself or Ms. Johnson. Now, it will be a little bit different, and it will be a little bit more difficult, because when we're at school, we have full access to the students. We're able to observe, we're able to receive referrals more easily, and if we want a student, we go to the class and we take them to the office. Now that they're at home, it's different. It's different, but the aim remains the same. We want to ensure that all our students are well adjusted. We want to ensure that the rights of all our students are still maintained and there are no breaches. And we want to ensure that our students develop into their best possible selves. Now, parents, they'll be at home with you a little bit more often, right? So now you have an additional responsibility to monitor the behavior. If you see something and something that looks all right, if you see some changes in the behavior, it's better for you to reach out. And when you do the checks, nothing was wrong than for something to be wrong and you never reach out. All right, students, it remains the same as well. Reach out to your guidance counselor. Reach out to your teacher if you want. You're just providing content, we'll be providing our trainings, because we cannot neglect that side of things. The academics, it's of importance, but the co-curricular activities and the development of the soft skills are also important. Home visits will still be done, obviously, while maintaining all protocols and being extremely cautious, but the job continues, and the process of developing our students, it continues. It will not be an easy year, I can tell you that. There will be challenges, as we can see with getting this meeting up and running. There were challenges. However, the task is at hand and the task remains the same. It will take an extra push from all of us to ensure that we get this thing done. And I'm 100% sure, students, from you have on the green and white, I tell you this all the time, from you have on the green and white, it says something. It means something. So now we have to materialize that together. It's not a you thing or us thing, it's a we thing. So all of us have that job to do and that responsibility. So let us do it and do it to the best of our abilities. Parents, you might reach out to if you send me a message or if you call me, get me, I can't promise that I'll respond the same time or even the same day, but I try my best to. But reach out to somebody. If something no looks right, reach out to somebody. The child was supposed to be at the Zoom sessions. You provide the internet, you provide the phone or the tablet or the laptop, and they're not logging on to the classes. Reach out. Reach out to the teacher, reach out to the guidance department. Reach out. We will be monitoring attendance. We will be monitoring the submission of work, homework assignments, tests. It remains the same. The task remains the same. It's just that the procedure is a little bit different for this school year. So I am actually excited about this school year. I'm looking forward to the newness and the difference and even the things that will remain the same. And I hope that that's my enthusiasm will carry over to some of you so that we can have a positive school year. Or programs or activities from this department, they will be up and running. They will be continued. Ms. Johnson and myself, that's Ms. Javina Johnson, the female guidance counselor. We will be up and running as soon as the school term is officially started. So partner with us, join in with us. Let us do this thing and continue the green and white greatness, the Morant Bay High School greatness.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. I feel motivated after that. We're going to ask Ms. Small, our current PTA president, to address us at this time. Ms. Small.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ms. Small, your PTA. Just to say, welcome parents, administration, and everyone. It is with great pleasure that I'm a part of this meeting and I'm the PTA president. I want to highlight that this is now the new norm for the excellence for the wider society in Jamaica. So, as parents, I'm encouraging you to play your part in ensuring that the school is successful as our children, our teachers, and administrative staff.
They're not hearing you, Ms. Small. There's a feedback.
I was just saying, good afternoon, everyone. Hear me now?
The feedback. Okay, so.
Any better now?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, parents, school administrative teachers, and staff. I am Ms. Small, Tamika Small, the PTA president. Just want to say this is a new norm for the school, and I'm encouraging parents. I'm not sure what is happening, but I'm in my office and the internet is really bad as with the whole of St. Thomas. So I'm not sure. I can't do any better.
Is it that can you take out the headphone? I think it's the headphones that may be causing the issue.
All right. All right, can you hear me without the earphone?
Yes, much better. No feedback.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, good afternoon, parents, teachers, administrative staff. Welcome to this new setting, virtual meeting, virtual class. And I'm encouraging parents to play our part in ensuring that our school is successful and our student by itself is successful also. I'm encouraged in seeing what Morant Bay High School has done so far in regards to this virtual class, the whole COVID and everything. I just want to encourage the parents to encourage their children and to enforce that proper dress code is followed, is adhered to, whatever the school put in place, it is properly adhered to, encourage them to behave properly in regards to the virtual meeting. I know that
parents will maybe be away from work, and we will have maybe don't have anyone to supervise them and stuff. But I'm encouraging you to try and to put things in place to ensure that a free flow of the virtual classes are maintained. I also would want to congratulate our CSEC students and our Cape students also. They have done well based on feedback I get from other students, school and everything. Also, I'd want to touch a little bit on the PTA2 matters, because presently there's no PTA representative for first form. What I've done so far is that person who were the PTA representative for first form, they would have gone to second form, third form, fourth form. We're not getting the kind of support that would need from parents. So we're encouraging parents to volunteer. It is important more than ever now that us as a PTA is viable, we are strong, we'll go there, because from time to time, the school will provide feedback, and I would like to provide that feedback to the parents. So I'm encouraging parents to volunteer, involve parents, involve good students, very successful students. I'm encouraging parents, even if I don't call you, the school don't call you, you can reach out to the school to find out, how can you be involved in your child life and in the school itself, wider school life. All right, so I'm really encouraging parents to do that. So challenges, as I said before, we have been not having parents supportive. So I'm encouraging you, and please, although I know that based on the ministry utterances that school fee or administrative support should not, if you don't have it, you're not support, but I'm still encouraging you, because subvention that the school get is not enough. It's not enough, because although children will be at home still, but a lot of work, internet bill, a lot of work still have to be put in place. And I'm encouraging also to pay the PTA dues too. So all the best parents, and thanks for this continued support and continue playing your part. Thanks, Miss Johnson.
Thank you, Ms. Small. Thank you very much. Now we now have a time for open questions. Mr. Logan, Mrs. Ford Bryan, our principal, Dr. Shaw, or our year teachers, they're all available to answer questions. But please remember, your orientations are next week, wherein we will be speaking to persons within their different year groups so that we can attend to matters that pertains to that particular year group. So when you're asking your questions, if it's something that can stay until when you're having your year meetings, please let that stay for that time. Remember, for orientations, first form, next week, the 29th to the 2nd. Remember, it is going to be virtual. You would have been given information to come out to school on Tuesday, but as I said before, Mrs. Campbell will be communicating with you via your WhatsApp group on how we will proceed where that is concerned. Second form is on the 29th, virtual, all virtual. Third form on the 30th, fourth form on the 1st, fifth form on the 5th. Sixth form will start, their orientation will be on the 5th of October. I'm not seeing any hands, but Mr. Logan, are there any questions in the chat?
Yes, there is a, okay, persons are asking about the community service. Information on community service will be communicated at a later date. That will have to be fleshed out and communicated. Another question, I paid my child's school fees online. Do I need to upload the receipts?
We always wanted to have a record of the receipt. So on the Google form that you all were given, there's a section for the receipt to be uploaded. And that is for first form right up to sixth form. There's a section for you to upload the receipt. So please, if you have already submitted the Google form and you did not upload a picture of the receipt, please send that information to the email or email address morantbayhs@gmail.com, and the office staff will put it on your record. So I'm going to repeat, Mr. Logan, you could put it in the chat. The email address that you can send your receipt to, morantbayhs, that's high school, @gmail.com, and request of for persons to print and to put it on your student's file. That's from first right up to fifth. But if you are going to go to school to return books, please remember, if you have documents or you had difficulties registering using the Google form, I will repeat, if you have difficulties registering your child for this school year using the Google form, you are to drop all relevant documents at the school office. Remember, when you get to school, you may have some wait because we have to abide by all protocols that the country has. So you may have some wait, but you drop that off at the school's office. But remember, you may have to wait a while because we can only allow a certain number of persons on the compound at a time. So the easiest thing for you to do, parents, is to submit the documents using the Google form that was provided by the school. If you need us to resend that information to the different year groups, we will do so.
Persons are also asking about the orientation dates, for that to be repeated.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and you could put it in the YouTube and the Zoom as well. Again, as I say, the first form orientation will be on the starts on the 29th. Why we have 3 days for first form is because they are new to the school and we know they will need a bit more orientation. All right. So first form is the 29th of September to the 2nd of October. More information on what will happen on those different days will be communicated to you via your first form WhatsApp group. If you are not yet in that group, please give your email to Ms. Campbell so that she can send the link to you. The persons who have registered all got the link. So if you are a first form parent and you did not register, that may be why you don't have the link. Second form orientation is the 29th, next week, Tuesday. Third form is the 30th, next week, Wednesday. Fourth form is the 1st of October, next week, Thursday. Fifth form is the 2nd of October, next week, Friday. For the upper six formers, or the persons who will be promoted to upper six, your orientation is the 5th of October. So your classes don't officially start until the Tuesday because your orientation will be on the 5th. For the lower six formers who are new now, you are just going through your process, your orientation will be the following Friday. If you could tell me that date, Mr. I think it's the 9th. The principal said the 9th. So for the new lower six formers, your orientation will be the 9th of October. And as I said, more information will be sent via your different WhatsApp groups. Parents, please remember also, we need the parents' email addresses. Why do we need them? All students were given an email address by the Ministry of Education. It is their first name and their last name at MOE schools, all right? That will be sent to you. There may be some variation if their middle name is added or not, because remember, they're doing emails for the entire country. The only way the teacher will be able to securely give you the information is by your email. And why we also want the parents' email is because we can, after we have set up the classes and everything is okay, we can add the parents' email to the students so that we can easily communicate to the parents through email, and we can attach that to each child's email. So we're asking parents from all grade levels, please send your email addresses to the form teachers so that each year teacher has a database of all emails for parents. so that we can communicate and we're not only dependent on WhatsApp. Any other questions, sir?
They're asking for the times of the orientation, the time that they'll begin.
Normally starts, that will be communicated via WhatsApp as well, but it normally starts at 9. But each year teacher may have a distinction as to their time, but it normally will fall between 9 and 1. But the teachers are not mandated to start at 9 and 1, but it's normally around that time. Each year group time will be communicated with you.
Not seeing any more.
And there are no questions on YouTube. Let me just say, parents, if you have already made uniforms for your children, if you have already made your uniforms, and you want your child to be in uniform, do so. All right, it will save you the hassle of having to have prepare different clothes each morning. But what we're saying is, if for whatever reason the uniform is not ready for you, then ensure your child is in something appropriate. So you would not want your child to come and sit in the class and the form teacher to ask them to be excused, to address properly. So if you have the uniform, wear the uniform.
Okay, so one parent is asking, is there any penalties for students who have not paid the school fee and other monies where rental books are concerned?
We're asking all parents who know that their child did not return a book or has lost a book or destroyed a book, that the relevant fees be paid or the book to be replaced. When that is done, then we're in a better position to provide books for the new students for the different year groups. If your child did not return a book, and it's on our record shows that they did not return a book, we cannot issue new books for the new school year.
Just to add, other information will be passed on periodically through the WhatsApp group. That's why that channel was created, so that information can be easily passed on.
Let me also say that we have a website. It will be launched in the next couple of weeks. We are trying to ensure that everything is on there for your information. So we will send a link to you very soon so that you can go straight to our website and you'll be able to get to our YouTube, our Instagram, the school newsletter. Remember, Morant Bay High School has a newsletter that is supervised by our guidance counselor, Mr. Logan. And that is where many of our students actually get a chance to develop their skills, to actually go into these different careers as editors and what's in other words, Mr. Logan? Writers and news broadcasters and so on. We will also have a radio station on our platform. We're in the development stage right now. We have a communication committee that will be looking on all of these different things. So guys, we have developed all of these different platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, the radio station, the newsletter, so that we can better inform and entertain and educate, and to give all our students different opportunities to excel in different ways. So please bear with us as we continue to give you quality, not just in education, but in different ways in which our students can excel in the future. If there are no other questions, and I think the principal wants to say something, he was unmuted. If so, sir, I think you can go ahead, Dr. Shaw. Or maybe the internet went again at school. Dr. Shaw, you can unmute. I'm seeing a question on YouTube where a parent is asking if they're able to change subjects. If you're a fourth form student and you want to change subjects. The fourth form year teacher, Miss Grant, she already addressed this issue. You can send her an email. You may be facilitated or you may not, but send her an email with the request. And she also told you the days that she may be at school. So please send an email to the year teacher, fourth form year teacher, if you have such a request. If there are no questions, Mr. Logan, I think Dr. Shaw is not able to open his mic. So I'll hand over to you at this time. Thank you, parents, and Ms. Johnson, and Dr. Shaw, myself, and Mrs. Ford Bryan. We are here to try and ensure that we have a good year. We are going to have challenges. We are expecting the challenges, but we know that we are equipped to be able to respond to whatever comes with the help of God. Thank you, everyone.
All right, so we have come to the end of our meeting. This is the first of many meetings. There will be need for meetings as a class. There will be need for meetings as a year group. There will be need for meetings as a school. Now, I emphasized earlier and I will re-emphasize again, if we are to be successful this year, the partnership has to be intact. That partnership with home and school, it's needed to be strong, no more than ever. So thank you again for joining. Thank you for participating. I hope your questions and concerns and whatever was making you anxious and uneasy, I hope all of that has been eased and we will have a productive and meaningful school year by the grace of God. So thank you everyone. Thank you everyone who was here from the beginning and stuck around with us until the end. Do have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. I am Mr. Logan, Guidance Counselor. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Other questions and other call. Have a good rest of the day, everybody. God bless.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Thank you. I'm just waiting a couple of minutes and then I'll end the meeting for everyone.